What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over everything you need to know about Fortnite's new Galactic Battle season reveal that recently happened at a Star Wars event in Japan. This season is going to be starting on May 2nd and then ending on June 7th or 8th. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and comment down below what you think of this upcoming Star Wars season. So, initially, we got the trailer. I'm going to play that on screen now. And then after the trailer, there was a short discussion between, I believe, the voice actor of Jar Jar Binks and then somebody else where they talked about the content that will be coming to the game for this season. I'm not going to play the whole discussion, but I'm going to talk about the things they talked about during it. So, as you can see from the trailer, this is a very much Star Wars themed season. As was leaked and rumored for the past several weeks, we are getting a Star Wars mini season in the middle of Chapter 6. Even if you are someone who really hates collab seasons, like me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of them. The fact that this is only a month long, I think is really good, and it should play out really fun for the people that actually enjoy Star Wars. And if you're not a big fan of it, you know, it'll come and go rather quickly. We do know of a lot of content that will be coming to this season, though. Based on the trailer, we have several new Star Wars blaster weapons that will be added to the loot pool just because you can see characters holding them in the trailer. And we have some assumptions on how these weapons will work based on how they work in other Star Wars media, but some of these descriptions or assumptions could be a bit off. The DL-44 is a heavy pistol, and this is expected to work somewhat similar to like the scoped revolver, the Deagle, the Mammoth pistol. It'll probably be a slow-firing, hard-hitting pistol that rewards accuracy. If you hit your shots and if you hit headshots, you'll be lethal with this thing, but if your aim isn't the greatest, it's probably not going to be the best. The CR2 is another pistol-style weapon, and this is expected to work somewhat like an SMG or a machine pistol, so it'll probably have like relatively low damage, but a pretty good fire rate. And then the A280 is an interesting weapon in Star Wars kind of media. This is a convertible pistol, so it's a pistol that can also be converted into several other weapons based on the attachments it has. I don't really expect modding to return to Fortnite for this season. I think that's where a lot of people's heads would go with that, is like, oh, they're going to bring back modding for this. And maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I don't expect that to be the case. I think this will just be one of the weapons that it actually can be. Or maybe it'll be one of those weapons that functions differently when aimed in versus when hip-fired. Similar to like the Monarch pistol we had in Chapter 5, Season 4. Or the Pulse Rifle we've had. Where like those weapons were basically two weapons in one. If you hip-fired, you got one weapon. If you aim down sight, you got another. I think that would be a mechanic that we've already had in Fortnite several times that would function very well with this kind of versatile convertible style weapon from Star Wars. And with these blasters in the past, because we've had several Star Wars updates in Fortnite, the blasters typically had unlimited ammo, but they would overheat for a bit if they were fired too much. So if you just spammed too much, your weapon would overheat and then you'd have to wait for it to cool down. But if you tap fired and bursted well, you could just seemingly shoot forever with no real problem. Recently in Fortnite, we have had the durability mechanic added in Chapter 6, and I'm interested to see if they do something with that with these Star Wars weapons rather than just making them full unlimited ammo. There's no sort of confirmation or anything on the durability. That's just my like thoughts on it. Lightsabers will also obviously return. We've had them come and go in Fortnite many times over the years. And we should also get the Force powers as well. Force Lightning is confirmed to be coming to the game this season from that discussion that they had after the trailer. I think it was even shown in the trailer. But I wouldn't be surprised if we get the old Force powers back as well, or some new ones launching with the Lightning. In Chapter 4, Season 2, there was the Star Wars update where you would go interact with the Star Wars character, and then you would get a lightsaber along with a Force ability. And they had like Force Pull, Force Push, and then I think there was one that like threw a bunch of rocks on people. Something like that will probably return to the game. And then these lightsabers with the Jedi abilities, or the Force abilities, also gave you like a better sprint and a better jump, similar to what we've seen with like the Typhoon Blade or the Kneecap or Bat. Like I said with durability, though, it wouldn't surprise me if these lightsabers get some sort of durability aspect added, because they've been adding it to a lot of items in Chapter 6. We will also be getting X-Wings and TIE Fighters, which are flying vehicles, both of which have weapons on them. This could be one of those things that some people would write off and say like, oh, it was just in the trailer, it's not going to come to the game. But in that discussion after the trailer, they said that these vehicles will be drivable and usable during the Fortnite season. So we're going to be getting flying vehicles with weapons on them, similar to what we had with planes back in Chapter 1. For some reason, the Evo Chrome Burst was in the trailer, like there was a character holding it in the background. This was a burst rifle from Chapter 3. I don't know if this is actually going to come to the game or if this is just some sort of oversight where they just, for some reason, the character was holding it. We'll have to see. But I don't think that burst really fits with like the theme of this season at all. We also got a short look at the map in the trailer, and we do know some changes that are expected to happen. Hopeful Heights is expected to be replaced, and potentially Magic Mosses will be replaced as well. Hopeful Heights is kind of random, but I think Magic Mosses makes sense to change because the Dago kind of portal event thing is happening at Magic Mosses now, and typically those areas that have things happening on them get replaced or changed for the next season. It's not always the case, but I think that kind of makes sense. Also, in the trailer, the Death Star is targeting Lone Wolf Lair, so we might see Lone Wolf Lair changed as well, maybe during the season or like, you know, at the very start. Could just also be, you know, a trailer lore thing, but Lone Wolf Lair is seemingly going to play some part in the next season. And then also, as per usual, there will probably be several other smaller map changes around the island as well. That's typically how it goes. We get POI swapped out, and then some lesser areas end up changing as well. For all the content I just talked about, I also think past Star Wars content will likely return. We've had many Star Wars updates over the years. I think the first one was like end of 2019. And then it seems like every few months since that point, we get a Star Wars update. And there's a lot of items we had. I think I will make a video tomorrow kind of talking about the Star Wars updates we've had in the past and what those items were and what those items were like. But we do know some of them will be returning to the game, like the lightsabers. The E11 blaster was shown in the trailer. And then also the Mandalorian jetpack was in the trailer as well. So like I said, I'll probably make a video tomorrow going over all the past Star Wars content that we've had. There will also be a lot of cosmetics coming to the game for this Star Wars season. And I think if you are a Star Wars fan, this is probably one of the things you're most looking forward to, because when we get a collab season, we get like an entire battle pass full of cosmetics from that IP, and then many, many more coming to the shop as well. In the battle pass, we are expected to have Emperor Palpatine, Jar Jar Binks, the Wookiee team leader, which is like a Cuddle team leader and Wookiee mashup, the Jedi Eevee remix, which is a Star Wars themed Eevee skin. And then there is also seemingly going to be a customizable Mandalorian skin. This was shown throughout the trailer, and there were several different variations of it shown. In past Fortnite seasons, like Chapter 2, Season 2, we got like fully customizable skins, and they haven't done that in a bit, but having this Mandalorian would be something that kind of makes sense for that. And then there's also several other skins that are expected to be coming to the shop throughout the course of the season. That is going to be Poe Dameron, I probably said that wrong, Captain Phasma, Mace Windu, the Andor characters, because I believe the Andor show kind of happened during this season. And then also their old Star Wars the old Star Wars item shop skins will also return to the shop during the season, I would expect. That's usually how it goes. Like the shop is going to be full of Star Wars stuff this entire season. So if you are a Star Wars fan, make sure you get V-Bucks and use code EvolveJake in the item shop. I would much appreciate that. Lightsaber pickaxes are something the Fortnite community has wanted for a while, and this is one of those things that I feel like people want so much that any little bit of shred of evidence they kind of take and run with because they really want it. I think if they were going to do lightsaber pickaxes, this would be the time to do it. In the trailer, there was a lightsaber shown with the bottom of it was not like any lightsaber we've ever had in the game before. And I've seen people say that, oh, maybe we're finally getting the lightsaber pickaxes. I don't expect it to happen, but, you know, like I said, people really want it to happen, so the tiniest little bit of evidence means a lot to them. I'm sure if it did happen, Epic and, you know, Disney would make a lot of money, so I'm not sure why it hasn't happened yet. There also was a brief view of the victory umbrella for this season. Fishstick has it in the trailer. And the bottom of it, the part that your character holds onto, actually looks like a lightsaber. So that's kind of cool. And that is a brief look at the victory umbrella for this season. This season is only going to be a month long, but we do know of the update dates for this season, and it seems like there's going to be a lot of content coming. At the end of the trailer, they kind of showed the different stages of the season, and it's basically like every week there's going to be an update aside from one. May 2nd is when the season starts, and this stage is called the Imperial Takeover. On May 8th, we get the Pull of the Force update. I imagine this was what would bring in like the Force abilities. That would kind of make sense. On May 22nd, we get the Mandalorian Rising update. This will probably bring in, you know, the Mandalorian stuff that we had in Chapter 2, Season 5. And if the Mandalorian customizable skin is like the extra skin for the season's Battle Pass, it'll probably come in that update as well. This is kind of unfortunate for me because I leave for DreamHack Dallas on May 22nd, so I don't know what I'm going to do as far as videos go for that update. But yeah, on May 22nd, we will get the Mandalorian update. On May 29th, we will get the Star Destroyer Bombardment update. And then finally, on June 7th, we get the Death Star Sabotage event. And this is expected to be a full-scale, like, actual Fortnite live event and not one of the mini events that we've had in recent years. So maybe, you know, people are wrong. The events are things that people get their hopes up for and often get disappointed. But if they're doing a Star Destroyer event, I think it makes, or sorry, Death Star Sabotage event, it makes sense to kind of go all out for that. And it sounds kind of similar to the alien event we had in Chapter 2, Season 7, where they boarded the alien ship and kind of destroyed it from within. But that is going to be it for this video and what to expect based on the reveal of the new Star Wars season. There will likely be many more things coming to the game that weren't shown in the trailer or haven't been discussed yet. But either way, if everything is known, it seems like there's going to be a lot of content coming to the game for the season. I know a lot of people will be very excited for that if they are Star Wars fans. And if you're not a Star Wars fan, luckily the season is short and there's still things like Reload out there for you to play in the meantime if you really do not enjoy the collab season. I'm not the biggest fan of collab seasons personally, but I think if they are going to do them, having them be very short and condensed like this is a way that I would much prefer it to work. But let me know what you think of this update and the reveal down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.